Okay, very good evening to all of you. I hope that I'm audible to everyone. Welcome to this session on MCAT 2409 analysis. Basically, ये MCAT 2409 analysis primarily we have kept so that you guys can actually look at a questionnaire analysis and how you guys have to move when you analyze your own paper. We have discussed the overall strategy part so far. We have discussed that how you have to attempt a paper. In this particular case, we have picked up a particular MCAT and then we are trying to do an analysis through that MCAT so that you guys can understand that how you have to eliminate an option, how you have to identify whether I'll be attempting this passage or not, whether I'll be attempting this particular question or not. So overall, it will help you a lot. So before we start anything, I hope here all those aspirants are sitting who have already appeared for this test and they have done their analysis also. Okay, so a lot of aspirants in Jaipur would have written a test today at a venue जो बहुत different रहा होगा क्योंकि आप किसी और venue पे जाके जब test देते हो तो actual में there is a trouble. आपका environment change हो जाता है and you know people around you, environment, labs, everything is different. And we have tried our level best to replicate the same environment which you get in CAT, because usually the CAT venues in any city, they are far away from a central location. So a couple of students who would have written this test in Jaipur would have enjoyed that, and you would have realized that okay, this was a great mode. Now understanding MCAT 2409. MCAT 2409 was actually, if I look at it from CAT 22 point of view, it was a replica of CAT 2022. Matlab, in terms of type of questions, more or less, if you look at the difficulty level of the paper also, the difficulty level of the paper also was, I would say, it was not a difficult paper, it was a moderate to difficult paper. Actually, any CAT would have this kind of a difficulty. So, आपको इसको उसी point of view से देखना है that the difficulty level options questions were at par with, let's say, CAT. हो सकता है couple of people would have realized that this was easier as compared to, let's say, the couple of other MCATs that they have taken so far. But in this particular case, if you look at MCAT 2409, हाँ, relatively other MCAT से easy हो सकता है, but CAT से I would say it was almost in the same difficulty level. Okay. Now let's try and understand the whole paper. Let's try and understand the whole paper. Let's try and understand how one should have attempted. Let's try and understand that how you should have scored those 21 to 30 marks, which let us say time also says that they were good enough in this paper. I mean, as per our analysis on the website of Time, we've written that a very good student would have scored 30 marks in this paper. Now I'm saying 21 marks were good in this paper, and 21 marks were typically managed bhi kiye ja sakte the. I mean, it was not a tough game. Okay, so let's start. Okay, I was just going through the previous few years papers. Then I noticed one thing, that the genres that you're getting in reading comprehension, approximately 25% passages are on tech industries and human culture, another 25%, close to 24%. This is the basic composition of RC genres over the years. Yes, you're getting passages on economics and business also. You're getting passages on fiction, 10% each. If you look at psychology also, there is a 16% portion, which is a good portion. Politics, law, crime, another 12%. So this is just to give you an idea that these are the genres which you're typically getting in, let's say, the previous CAT papers. Okay. So from this understanding, although this is just give you an idea of the overall picture of the genres that you get. As far as this particular paper was concerned, this passage had typical 4 passages. One was on animals, sound systems. Another was on a warfare, that is a guerrilla warfare. Another was a diamond category, that is Lunstelit. Then classical music and its life. There were 3 questions on summary, 2 questions on FIPs, fit in the para, the new category which was introduced in 2022, and then 3 questions on paraform. Okay, this was exactly that paper where no odd one out was there, no out of context was there. So typically this was one paper which was exactly on the lines of the question category as far as CAT 2022 was concerned. Okay, so let's start with the attempt strategy of the paper. Let's start with the attempt strategy of the paper. All of you would have appeared for the paper, so it's a good time to discuss now each and every question. I'm not only discussing the generic strategy of the VARC section, but I'm covering each and every question so that you get a very good idea that which question you are supposed to leave and which question you are supposed to attempt. Okay, now let's move. Okay, verbal ability attempt. Verbal ability attempt, I believe it was a game which was divided into 2 parts. So let's divide the whole game into 2 parts. There are 2 schools of thought. The first school of thought says that I'll be attempting VA first and then I'll be attempting RC. The second school of thought says I'll be attempting RC first and then I'll be attempting VA. Both school of thoughts are okay. Okay. But I personally, it is my personal opinion that this school of thought looks little good if we if you look at attempting and let's say analyzing post-test also concerned. Why? Because in verbal ability, you typically get 8 questions. Okay, you typically get 8 questions, and here you have 16 questions. If you spend 10 minutes on verbal, just by a quick scanning of verbal ability, you can easily identify 5 questions which you can attempt. And 5 questions here means it's a good attempt of 5 questions out of 8 questions. So let's start with, one could have easily identified those 5 questions. Now, there are a lot of students who are attempting 8 questions also. There are a lot of students who are attempting all 8 questions in 15 minutes time. These are those students whose verbal ability is very strong, who believe that, you know, VA is very strong and they'll be able to handle VA without any hassle. उनका VA बहुत strong है, accuracy बहुत strong है. Whether it is paraforming or it is fit in the para, they are doing good in that. Otherwise, if you look at this particular paper, I have identified a couple of questions which one could have easily attempted, but then how you should have gone or how you should have moved in the paper. Okay, so let's say paper started and you have your paper in hand. You know that first to 16 questions you have scanned in the bird eye view. First to 16 questions are from RC. Now, since first to 16, question number 1 to question number 16, they are for RC. And it is very clear that question number 17 to question number 24, it is from verbal ability. So they have given a very clear-cut demarcation. At times, it is possible you may not even get this demarcation. In that case, it is in your notepad. You need to identify that which questions are from verbal ability, so that you can actually attempt verbal ability first, or let's say you can start the paper with verbal ability. Okay, let's go back. So this was question number 17, which was first question of verbal ability. See, if you look at this question was on summary. Okay, and I would categorize this question as difficult because in this question, you might not get head and tail of the paragraph. See, if you get the head and tail of the paragraph, that question number 17 may, para says that even with specific task, the whole idea of the para is even with specific tasks, hope you have attempted this question. I don't know. This is for everyone, whether you have attempted it or not. With specific tasks, because I am assuming that in post-test analysis, you would have attempted this question. With specific tasks, the skills needed are not constant. Skills are not constant. Okay. And even inside the same industry, within industry, you will find that variation is there in work environment. Variation is there. This is primarily because of variation in work environment. Now, this is the main part coming out of the paragraph. But if you understand the paragraph, now there are two ways you may not understand this paragraph. In that case, question number 17, you will not attempt, you will leave. Okay. Now, if I understand the paragraph and I know that, okay, this paragraph is moving in this format, this is the idea flow of the paragraph, then in that case, I can look at trying out with the options. Hiring for a specific, okay, let me ask you this question. How many of you have attempted this question and marked, just a minute, marked B as in your answer? How many of you have attempted this question? You can type down in the chat box. You can type down in the chat box. I can see the chat box. How many of you have attempted and marked B as an answer? B as an answer. Okay. Anyone who has attempted this question and marked B, you can typically type down in the chat box. Now, those people who have marked B, okay, those people who have marked B, variations in work environment, lot of people are writing to me. Yes, me. Okay. Now, please understand. देखो बहुत सारे लोगों ने B mark किया है. Variation in work environment could make it hard to identify the competencies required to hire individual. Now, competencies required to hire individual. Is it about competency required to hire individual? मतलब employer की competency की बात कर रहा है क्या? This option repeats what the author, see, question number 17, option number B, means that specific competencies are needed to hire individual. The para never talks about the competencies to hire. Para never talks about competencies of those who hire worker. It is competency of worker. मैं hire करता हूं, ये मेरी competency पे नहीं है. Okay, lot of people have marked yes sir, me. तो ये clear हो गया. आप employer पे shift हो गए worker से. So this is the mistake in this particular choice, and this is wrong. Two close choices, B and D. Even inside the same industry, a variation in work environment influences the skills needed to carry out specific tasks. This becomes the answer if I can draw the main theme of the paragraph. If I can draw the main theme of the paragraph, then this becomes the answer. Okay. Now I'll quickly explain you why A is not the answer. Hiring for a specific task. Hiring for a specific task could be difficult because of the disagreement. Is it the reason mentioned? No. Hence, not an answer. Job related knowledge varies from industry to industry because of its dependence on work environment. Now, again, not an answer. Why? Because varies from industry to industry. Are we talking about other industries? No. Hence, not an answer. So, you can easily mark D. दो option बाहर दे रहा हूं. Answer D है. I have explained you why. But difficult है. I would say question was difficult because para का theme identify करना was slightly difficult due to tricky language used here. Okay. This is how one could have handled 17, or one could have easily not attempted the question. Okay, let's move. Question number 18. Now, question number 18 is a para-forming question. Again, it's a difficult, rather very difficult in category. So, ये भी अगर इसमें क्या है, there was no loss because this was a non-negative question. Okay, this was a non-negative question. There was no loss. Okay, one could have attempted it. उससे नुकसान नहीं होता. Now, please understand all four statements. As pleasure activism, author writes. Okay, now, see, embracing collective joy may well rest. Collective campaigns, collective joy. Now, para talks about in this typical case, what you have to understand, it's a very simple case where embracing collective joy may well rest, though on vanquishing the punishing singular idea of happiness. This singular idea that it's connected to efficiency, a person's job, or even our individual well-being. So 2 is connected to 4. How many of you were able to identify this connect? In this question, I'm not getting the introductory statement easily. My simple logic is introductory statement se will start. Okay. But yahan I'm not getting the introductory statement. So I'm trying to find out the blocks. मुझको 2-4 का block तो easily मिल जाता है. Okay. And 2-4 is a block. 4 contrasts. 4 contrasts. What? With the singular idea of happiness in second part of 2. The 4 contrasts with the singular idea of happiness in the second part of 2. This singular idea. इसको contrast कर गया. तो मेरे को 2-4 का block मिल गया. If I got 2-4 का block, now 2 into 2. 2 into needs a support. 2 into 2. This word into needs a support. ये support उसको 3 दे रहा है. Collective campaigns, however limited in their gains, can take ordinary lonely geographies and transform them into spaces of hope. So another link I got was 3, 2, 4, 1, and then 1 I'll keep here. Now how many of you have marked 1, 3, 2, 4 as answer? अगर 3, 2, 4 मिल गया तो 1 को आंसर मार्क कर दिया. As pleasure, activism, outer rights. How many of you have started with 1? That's the major mistake here. It will come at the end. 1 comes in the end because justice and liberation as ideas are only introduced in 4. Because justice and liberation are ideas which are only introduced in 4. Okay. One won't make sense in the beginning of the paragraph as there is no direct connection between 1 and 3. 1 and 3 linkage does not exist. But it was a difficult question. Starting statement नहीं मिल रहा, ending statement नहीं मिल रहा, सिर्फ 2-4 का block मिला, तो you could have taken a guess 3-2-4-1, 3-1-2-4, whatever you would have marked. 1 end में डाल के छोड़ देते, तो भी आंसर मिल जाता. 3-2-4-1 आंसर बनता है. But a very difficult question. One could have guessed it out and then moved ahead because there was no point in wasting time here. Okay. Question number 19. Question number 19 was easy question. Rather, I would say 19th and 24th. Both were very easy. Okay. 19th was easy. In 19th, we have a simple case where we are talking about surface of moon. It is covered with dust. Okay. Surface of moon is covered with dust that is being studied. And we are studying this dust that is being studied. Okay. And what we are saying, it can give us a lot of information about things, and that we need to understand how to live and build on it if we make the moon on outpost, and how to live on it. Okay. If we make it outpost. So this is the main theme of the paragraph. Easy to understand. And similarly, I could have easily marked A as an answer. The fine dust on the lunar surface has to be studied to understand our solar system, other words, and how to build a permanent human outpost. Now, let's look at the options. The surface of the moon has answers to how the solar system and the other worlds were formed. ठीक है, irrelevant है. I mean, other worlds formed मेरे को मतलब नहीं है. I'm not interested. We have to understand the surface of the moon if we want to live on it and build on it using own material. How many of you have marked C as an answer? Okay, please type down here in the chat box. How many of you have marked C as an answer? Has to be studied. Has to be studied. It is correct. Why are you saying it is extreme in nature? Surface of the moon is full of mysteries, particularly its fine dust covering in the lunar soil. Scientists hope to find clues about the formation of our solar system and glean answer about what other worlds might be like. It is also the destination for a new generation of crewed missions and the most likely site for the first permanent off-world human post. So not only will we want to learn how to live with the vexing substrate, we are also going to need to learn how to build with it. In other words, we are going to have to get our hands dirty. Okay. So people have marked B. Now, this does not have the idea of building on the lunar surface. इसमें जो building वाला बात है, building on the lunar surface, this portion, building on lunar surface. Okay, building on lunar surface. This is missing, which is a very important part of the paragraph. So it is incomplete in nature, partially true. Okay. We have to understand the surface of the moon if we want to live on it and build on it using its own material. On its own material. C, a lot of people would have marked C also. Okay. Now, C. It is discussing the second part of the para. First couple of ideas mentioned in the paragraph, they are missing. First couple of ideas mentioned in the paragraph, they are missing. So if you look at C as a choice, first part of the para is missing. Please look at it. First part, second part, there are two parts of the paragraph here. Entire para should be covered in the answer choice so that you could have marked this as an essence. So this is also wrong. And now D, crewed missions are not studying the surface to know how solar system and other worlds were formed. The para says it's also the destination for crewed mission. It's also the destination for crewed missions. So वो तो नहीं पढ़ रहा है. Hence this is wrong. So one could have easily marked A as an answer, except for choice number B. Except for choice number B, which is partially true, but not covering the whole passage. आप confuse हो सकते थे, B mark कर सकते थे, ठीक है? But again, this question one could have easily attempted. One question you could have easily attempted, okay? How do we identify this extremeness? Okay, NM Sogani. How do we identify this extremeness? Please understand. Has to be studied to understand our solar system. अभी ये बोल रहा है, so not only we will want to learn how to live with this, we are also going to need to learn how to build with it. In other words, we are going to have to get our hand dirty. तो देखो यहाँ पे ये इसलिए नहीं बना रहा है extreme because this is A is based out of 4, number 1. ठीक है. Number 2, it is saying it turns out that surface of the moon is full of mysteries, particularly its fine dust covering. Okay. And hands dirty. We are going to have to get our hands dirty. Particularly its fine dust in the lunar, scientists hope to find clues. So इसलिए पढ़ना तो पड़ेगा and glean answers about what others world might be like. ठीक है. इसीलिए I am saying कि ये answer बना सकता है. This is based out of 4. Okay. Is it clear to you, NM? NM Sogani, है ना? Clear. Let's go. Moon is full of mysteries. Okay, it is तो पढ़ना तो पड़ेगा, है ना? Has to be studied. Okay. Question number 20. Again a doable question set. Again a doable question set. Now, question number 20. It was a moderate difficulty level. Okay, moderate difficulty level. Where let's say, अब इसमें मुझे बहुत सारे हिंट थे, ठीक है? Unlike the opulent, as with all the embroidered cloths, but it's also a fascinating window. तो इसलिए ये बहुत हिंट दे रहा है मुझे. Now, see, look at statement number 4. With its faded fabric and depth of holes, the first Palestine dress on display at Kettle's Yard in Cambridge might initially seem unremarkable. This is now easily an introductory statement. Okay, so I could have started with 4. Then, unlike the opulent tops elsewhere in the gallery, it is a thoroughly warm garment created for every day. Again, unlike the other opulent tropes. Okay. Now, 4-1 is a direct connect here, and you could have easily moved to, but it's also a fascinating window into the life of a rural woman, blah, blah, blah. and then as with all of the embroidered clothes. So one could have easily moved to 4132 as an answer. Okay. I think this was, I would say, moderate to easy. Moderate to easy. Difficult nahi hai, easy nahi hai, moderate hai. One could have easily attempted. Now, इसमें गलती करने का बहुत ज़्यादा scope नहीं था. If I have identified the introductory statement, if I have identified the introduction. Okay. So this was question number 20. Easily attempt किया जा सकता. Okay. Question number 21. Again, a doable question. Question number 21. Question number 21 was a doable set of question. Other, I would say, again, I would say easy. Okay. Now, see, in 21, if you say the phrase economic theory, people know what you mean. Economics is considered the most powerful of the social sciences in an intellectual sense. This is intro to eco. Okay, intro to economics. Now, this sentence, if you say the phrase economic theory, people know what you mean, cannot be preceded by a sentence that talks about economic theory. Okay, so this is a wrong answer choice. That power derives from the fact that economics is a unified core theory from which nearly everything else follows. Now, if you say phrase economic theory, people know what you mean. No other social science has a similar foundation. Similar foundation. What kind of foundation that we're talking about? People know what you mean. So, looks to be a good choice. Okay. Option 3. Now, this blank is followed by rather. So, if you say the phrase economic theory, people know what you mean. Rather, theories in other social sciences tend to be for specific purposes. Rather will not justify. Rather will not justify. Rather will directly justify this only. So, this is also wrong. Okay. Now, then you have, look at fourth. Why fourth is wrong? Because here, if you keep it, it becomes a concluding sentence. Okay. Blank 4, mein agar main isko rakhta hu, it is preceded by a sentence that talks about economists and physicians. Economists and physicians. So now, again, I am going wrong. In fact, economists often compare their fields to physics. Physics, economics build from a core premises. So this is also wrong. Hence, the best answer choice is 2. Easy question, one could have easily attempted. Okay. Third, isliye answer nahi hai C, because rather is not connecting to this statement. Rather is connecting to no other social sciences as a similar foundation. Okay. Those people who have marked 3 as an answer. Okay. So this is again, I would say, easy question. One could have easily attempted. Okay, let's move. Question number 22. Question number 22. This was a good moderate to difficult question. Okay, moderate to difficult question. छोड़ा जा सकता था, है ना? अगर बहुत परेशानी नहीं थी, छोड़ा जा सकता था. अगर बहुत लोगों का पैरा ये समरी स्ट्रांग नहीं है, they could have easily left the question. एसेंस देना है पैरा का. पैरा की क्लैरिटी बहुत जरूरी थी. And some important ideas coming out of the paragraph. Now, anti-colonial movements have a shared history that still influences contemporary society. देखो, इसमें 2 mistake है. It does not mention one important idea about anti-colonial movements having a shared history. So shared history was important. First, it is not mentioned. Second, it is not correct to say that shared history influences contemporary society. It is the classic writings inspired by anti-colonial movements that hold salience. Okay, so this becomes a wrong choice. ये difficult है. I am again saying, पैरा का head and tail अगर समझ में नहीं आया तो difficult है. Now, choice number 2. Anti-colonial movements were ideologically connected to each other. Sharing का बात कर लिया. And those ideologies are still relevant in contemporary times. आज का बात कर लिया. First half of the para, second half of the para. Anti-colonial movements inspired each other. they inspired each other. Oh, nowhere mentioned that they inspired each other. Okay. Anti-colonial movements inspired writing is not given in the para. The para only says many of the classic writings associated with anti-colonial movements. So there is a correlation between writings and the movements, but there is no clear causation. Okay. So again, wrong. Anti-colonial movements inspired classic writings about powerful ideas like sovereignty, equality, and social justice. Again, wrong. Okay. Why? It is not talking about the relevant parts, that is shared history, etc. So again, you can eliminate this. Hence, you could have easily marked B as an answer. Question number 23. Question number 23 was, I would say, categorized as very difficult question. Very difficult question. Answer to this question can only be formed in one way, that I got a pair of 4-3. That neither genetics nor race can explain the character structure of persons, and link it with this was not the case during 1920s and 1930s. So 4-3 is one connect that I got. Okay. That I got. Agreed? Sharing and inspired. Okay, two different things are there. So Shreya, this will not become the answer. 4-3 is a good connect here. 23 में यही मिल सकता है मुझे. इसके आगे यहाँ 2 आएगा, यहाँ 1 आएगा, यहाँ 1 आएगा, यहाँ 2 आएगा. बहुत difficult था, because before the publication of, if I read this 1, let's say, then if I look at this part and then connect but before the publication of American Dilemma, then I could have probably linked it, but वो link करना exam conditions में justifiable नहीं था, difficult था, छोड़ा जा सकता था. ठीक है. 2, 4, 3, 1 इसका आंसर है. Question number 24. Again a very easy question. Again a very easy question. बहुत आराम से attempt हो सकता था और बहुत कम time में attempt हो सकता था. Answer is 3, and I need not explain. It cannot start with but. Rohit Kamra. नहीं, why it cannot start with but? Any paraforming question but से start हो सकता है. उस केस में क्या करना? But को हटा के para को पढ़ना. Then you will come to know whether it can start with but or not. Okay. This was easy. Immunology and neurosciences have since grown into rich and complex disciplines. Since grown. So since is important for you here. Okay. And it says the 19th century also gave rise to neuroimmunology, largely to unravel the mechanism. An aim is still shared by most clinical neuroscience department. Immunology and neuroscience have since grown into rich and complex disciplines. So easily you could have fit in the para here. This was question number 24. Okay. A very easy question. वापिस से पीछे आता हूं, and I would say that you could have easily attempted 19, 20, 24. So 3 questions easily. 21, 22, 5 questions with slight application of logics. Okay. ये था आपका verbal ability section. 10 minutes, one could have easily attempted verbal ability. Okay. Now come to passage number 1. Okay. Let's talk about orders. Write down in the chat box what was your order of attempt in this particular test. Write down in the chat box what was your order of attempt in this particular test. इस particular test में आपका क्या order था? Chat box में लिखो. How many questions we need to target? रोहित, VA से 5 निकल सकते हैं easily. RC से 8 क्वेश्चन, 2 पैसेज बहुत आराम से निकल सकते हैं. अगर मेरा ऑर्डर स्ट्रांग है और स्कैनिंग करके 1, 2, 3 निकाला किसी ने, हाँ 1, 2, 3 अच्छा ऑर्डर हो सकता था. ठीक है, 1, 2, 3 अच्छा हो सकता था. सी while scanning passages, passage number 1 was on animals, acoustics. Okay. And passage number 2 was on guerrilla warfare. Passage number 3 was on a diamond category, Lonsdale. Okay. And passage number 4, which was on music and its extinction. Okay. Now, ये छोड़ा जा सकता था. 1, 3, 2 in this order one could have attempted, or 1, 2, 3 in this order one could have attempted. People who do not draw an order and they move in 1, 2, 3, 4, they were lucky. 1, 2, 3, 4 mil gaya. Okay. Otherwise, 1, 2, 3, 4 is going in a sequence is not a very good idea. Okay. So now, all attempt karna is a good idea. One could have attempted all. Agar bahut 99 ki taraf dekh raha hai, so he could have attempted easily all passages. Okay. So passage with turtles, that is animals accounting. Okay. Question number 1. The idea in the passage, this was a question which was based on idea flow, which you would have done in your RCHO 2 class, that is second class of RC. Now, easily you could have marked this answer as C, because we started with turtle vocalization. Then we talked about animal communication, and then auditory communication in learned vertebrates, and then vocalization in lungless fish. Okay. Eliminate क्यों किया? क्योंकि इसको अकाउस्टिक कम्युनिकेशन को उसने एट लेंथ डिस्कस नहीं किया. डिस्कस किया है, बहुत रेफरेंस में डिस्कस किया है, एट लेंथ डिस्कस नहीं किया. सो दिस वाज एलिमिनेटेड. नॉक्टर्नल लाइफस्टाइल्स, okay, this was also debatable. Findings were debatable, so not here discussed in this format. Again, animal lineages, third word is animal lineages. This was also wrong, so you could have marked C as answer. Question number 2. Which of the following best restates the implications in it, also the implications for the evolution of auditory communications more broadly? Para 6. Okay, let's go to para 6 and understand what he is asking. See, it says that, go to the last part of the para, this part. Okay, this part. While the study adds to scientists' understanding of vocalizations in these groups, it also has implications for the evolution of auditory communications more broadly. When the researchers reanalyzed the earlier phylogenies with the data added in, they concluded, it is written, they concluded, I will underline for you, that rather than evolving multiple times, vocalization evolved once in a common ancestor. Okay, and that is typically the answer choice. Which of the following best restates the implications in? It also has implications for the evolution of auditory communication more broadly. Vocalization did not evolve independently across various lineages. एक बार आया, across various lineages नहीं आया. Hence, it is the right answer choice. Okay. Okay. What factors are needed to come in mind while eliminating options in these type of questions? These factors I'm telling you. Okay. Vocalization was traced all the way back to last common ancestor of all lunged vertebrates. Now, I would say this is also, this is why we are not marking A as an answer. Okay, let's discuss this. Okay, then only you will understand how to eliminate. See, the passage does not discuss जिस implications की आप बात कर रहे हो, ठीक है, वो typically evolving multiple times नहीं, common ancestor पे गया. ये एक observation है passage की, ये एक observation है passage की, और not the implication. ठीक है, ऑब्जर्वेशन इंप्लीकेशन कब बनती है? जब ऑब्जर्वेशन की फाइंडिंग्स ट्रू हो जाएंगी, वो इंप्लीकेशन बन जाएगी. बट दिस इज ओनली एन ऑब्जर्वेशन इन द पैराग्राफ. वोकल कम्युनिकेशन इवॉल्व्ड विद लंगलेस फिश. ओके, इंटरेस्टिंग. लॉट ऑफ पीपल आर सेइंग व्हाई नॉट सी सर. हाँ, मैं आ रहा हूं इस पे. वोकल कम्युनिकेशन इवॉल्व्ड विद लंगलेस फिश. दिस आर्ग्यूमेंट इज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड इन द नेक्स्ट पैराग्राफ. Again, not the implication mentioned in the previous paragraph. Hence, this is not an implication of the previous para. All lunged vertebrates have a common ancestor. Acha choice. All lunged vertebrates had a last common ancestor. But this was known prior to this particular research. This research was more about the vocalization ability. उनको common ancestor था, ये तो उनको पता है, इससे पहले पता है. यहाँ तो vocalization पे खेल खेल रहे थे. They were searching for, the research was on vocalization, not on common ancestor. Hence, this is wrong. Okay. So you have to pick words or a group of words which will help you to eliminate the entire choice. Question number 3. The 2020 paper published in Nature Communication was mentioned to show that. Okay. Why was it published? To show that. Now, look at question number 3. Again, if you look at the paragraph, look at these lines. These lines. Okay. Debate around the ability of some animals to communicate with another. In 2020, scientists published a paper in Nature Communication. They mapped the evolutionary phylogenies of roughly 1800 vocal and non-vocal species and postulated that acoustic communication had evolved independently in Earth's major lineages, including frogs, birds, mammals. Okay. So, abilities of some animal to communicate with one another. What are they looking at? Debate was on some animals were considered incapable of producing sounds earlier. This was the earlier part. So, turtles are incapable of vocal communication? No, it was not specifically for turtles. It was not specifically for turtles. This was the conclusion of the 2020 study, but the author does not mention this paper to make use of this conclusion in this discussion. ये conclusion था, है ना? ये conclusion था. This was conclusion, but this was the conclusion of the 2020 study. Question says the 2020 paper published in Nature Communication was mentioned to show. ठीक है? Acoustic communication had evolved independently. Again a conclusion. Nocturnal lifestyles influence the vocalization abilities of various lineages. This was the conclusion of the previous research. So I have eliminated all 4 choices which were confusing. But if I could understand this line, okay, debate around the ability of some animals to communicate with one another. So I would have easily marked A as an answer. Okay. अरे C भी तो conclusion है, B, C, D तीनों conclusion है. तुम लोग समझो, तुमको conclusion mark नहीं करना. The 2020 paper published in the Nature Communication was mentioned to show that. यहाँ पे उस किस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में हमने उसको यूज किया है? हमने उसको इस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में यूज किया है. ओके. Tushar, now it is clear to you. We are not playing on what is mentioned in the paragraph. We are playing on contextual understanding. Please understand this word. Contextual understanding. Please don't go on the literal meanings. Okay, agreed hai? Okay. Question number 4. Presumption. On the presumption that the recorded species. ये presumption मांग रहा है तुमसे. Question number 4 में. Presumption that the recorded species. हाँ, इसका answer. Do not always produce sounds. इसी पे तो काम करता था वो. See, if you look at this part of the paragraph, the team collected sounds from an additional 50 turtle species as well as lungfish, blah, 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 to better identify which scientists might elicit sound, traveled to 5 countries to record and did so in various settings, including this part. Okay. So, to better identify which scenario might elicit sound. Matlab, do not always produce sound. In some scenarios, they produce sound. So, it's a good assumption. Produce different sounds in different settings. Why this is not the answer for Kasi? There is no mention in the paragraph. About the recorded species changing the sounds they produce from setting to setting. No mention. They are not changing the sounds. they are not changing the sounds. Okay, वो sound था ही नहीं. Okay, कौन सी condition में sound आएगा? That was the whole context. Okay, so B is the best possible answer choice. Turtles का passage, animals acoustic का passage, one could have easily attempted at number 2. One could have easily attempted at number 2 or number 3 position. Number 2 ही अच्छा रहता, because guerrilla warfare थोड़ा difficult था in terms of questions. It was difficult in terms of questions. Okay. Tushar said marked C as usual. So C produce different sound in different settings. नहीं, नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं. डिफरेंट साउंड्स का बात नहीं किया. साउंड आएगा या नहीं आएगा इसका बात किया. क्वेश्चन नंबर 5. ओके, डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन. ओके, क्वेश्चन ऑन एक्सेप्ट. ये वैसे भी डिफिकल्ट होता है. एक्सेप्ट इज यूजुअली डिफिकल्ट. तुमको गलत ही लगता है एक्सेप्ट, मुझे मालूम है. तो बहुत सारा अगर एक्सेप्ट एक पैराग्राफ में है, उस पैराग्राफ को ऑर्डर ऑफ अटेम्प्ट में हम पीछे कर सकते हैं. अगर देयर आर मेनी क्वेश्चंस ऑन एक्सेप्ट और हमें उसे पीछे करना पड़ता है, तो हम उसे पीछे कर सकते हैं. मतलब तुम एक्सेप्ट के बेसिस पे पीछे ले जाओ, ऑल्दो बहुत समझदारी नहीं है, बट यस, दिस कैन बी डन. ऑल ऑफ द फॉलोइंग आर ट्रू एक्सेप्ट. हाँ, so in this case this is true, this is true, this is true, so this is answer. In the 6th century BC, they had to concede defeat due to Persian army's tactics. No, the Scythians had to concede. No, they won. They won. Okay, it is against the power. Okay, hence answer. तो ऑप्शन एनालिसिस किया तो इजी बन गया. क्वेश्चन एक्सेप्ट का है तो डिफिकल्ट है. ओके, क्वेश्चन नंबर 6. द पर्पस ऑफ द सेकंड पैराग्राफ ऑफ द पैसेज इज टू शो. अगेन स्पेसिफिक पैरा पर्पस क्वेश्चंस. दे आर, आई वुड नॉट से डिफिकल्ट, बट ठीक है, हाँ, डुएबल है, निकाल सकते हैं. क्वेश्चन नंबर 6. हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हैव मार्क्ड choice number B? Choice number B. Purpose of the second para. The US lost the Vietnam War because of the asymmetrical war launched by the local forces. How many of you marked B as an answer? Okay, so you've eliminated B easily. Why was B eliminated? The US lost the Vietnam War. US lost the Vietnam War. The purpose of the second para. Okay, इस पे आते हैं. US lost the ये पैरा US और वियतनाम वॉर के बारे में नहीं था alone. The para mentions other examples as well. This is just an example. This is just an example. So not Keshav, option B. This is just an example, not the purpose. Okay, so gaya. The author wasn't really trying to make this point. Which point? This one. It is not factually conclusive since the French had faced a crushing defeat. That is also wrong. The social and political climate of Vietnam pressured the US to concede defeat in the Vietnam War. Oh, how many of you marked D? How many of you marked D? It is not the social political climate. It is not. The social and political climate in the US pushed the US into conceding defeat in the Vietnam War. US का climate ने उसको defeat कराया था, not Vietnam का climate. Okay, so answer is A. Plain simple elimination, nothing else. I should know what I'm reading. So if I'm reading an example, that's not the purpose. If I'm reading US and French focus, then again, this is not the purpose. Question number 7. All the following are implied by the penultimate para except that conventional armies. Conventional armies का बात कर रहा है ना? तो इसके लिए all the following are implied. Are under pressure to win the wars they are fighting. Oh yes, conventional armies are under pressure. Are constantly wary of the mounting cost of the. Yes, they are. Do not prefer wars of attrition that do not give results in reasonable time frame. True. Do not prefer engaging guerrilla fighters because it always includes local population. Oh, this is the answer. Why? Because conventional armies have to contend with local population fighting as guerrillas, but the para does not say that guerrilla warfare includes local population all the time. Okay, because it includes local population, this is not true for all the time. Hence, this becomes the answer. Okay, so this is question number B. If you could have even identified true statements, you could have marked D as a choice. Question number 8. The example of Scythians helps us understand that. Oh, this is one example given. Again, a lot of you would have marked A. A lot of you would have marked A. मैं जहां तक हूं A mark किया होगा. A lot of you would have marked A. How many of you have marked A? Is it true always? No. So, not the answer. Guerrilla warfare was employed since the rise of empire. Since the rise of empire. Asymmetrical warfare maybe have been waged way back in the past, but the passage never says guerrilla warfare were employed. Asymmetrical के लिए बोल सकता हूँ, guerrilla warfare के लिए नहीं बोल सकता. Okay. Asymmetrical warfare has been effective against colonial powers since times immemorial. Oh, this is good. A good choice. Now, why this is not the answer? Asymmetrical warfare is effective. Is effective. I don't know. I marked B because that's the main idea of the passage. Oh, Mahima. Guerrilla warfare was employed since the rise of empires. No. Asymmetric warfares, not specifically guerrilla warfare. Asymmetric warfares may have been waged back in the past. आप बहुत specific होगा इसमें. So this is not mentioned in the para. Hence, in this case, answer will be D. See, it is written, indeed, colonial powers have contended with the asymmetrical threats in the rise of empires. It is written, it is very well mentioned here. Look at this line. So if you go to 6th century BC wala line, in this particular para, from here, okay, it is written, indeed, colonial powers have contended with asymmetrical threats since the rise of empire. Asymmetrical threats since the rise of empires, not guerrilla warfare. Okay. So this is the answer choice for 8th. Question number 9. Which of the following is not true about the difference? Oh, this one on diamond. Now, Lonsdaleith, diamond, Lonsdaleith, diamond, diamond category, diamond crystal. अब ये interesting था, ये easy था. This was easy. You could have attempted at number 1 position also. You could have attempted number 1 position. You could have attempted 1 and 3. You could have attempted 3 and 1. You could have attempted these 2 passages and you could have moved out easily. Okay. Which of the following is not true? Not true. The former are much smaller than the latter. True. ये तो true है. हमको not true निकालना है, तो आंसर नहीं बनेगा. The former has a different crystal structure. No, they have a same crystal structure because both are Lonsdaleith. Both are Lonsdaleith. Both are same. तो सिर्फ chemical structure differ कर सकता है, crystal structure same है. Crystal structure same है. Hence, answer. Agreed है? Easy question. One could have easily attempted. क्वेश्चन नंबर 9 सी अच्छा चलो पहले वाले में एक चीज और था, देखो यहाँ पे लिखा था सेकंड पैराग्राफ, it was from second paragraph. Indigenous in their chemical composition, which is uniquely rich in carbon. Okay. So, because they are homogeneous. Now, I'm talking about 10th question now. Now, let's go to 10th question. Uralites have provided a distinct advantage to the research owing to the fact that all of them had a similar chemical composition. All of them had a similar chemical composition. And the research team examined 18 different meteorite samples from a family known as uralites, because uralites are relatively homogeneous in their chemical composition. They have a similar chemical composition. Okay. So you could have easily marked this as an answer choice. Question number 11. Question number 11. Which of the following, if true, most strengthens the research mentioned in the passage? See, it is very clear from this line of the passage that if you look at the researchers, this paragraph, you will find that they claim that a fluid mix of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and sulfur was heated and pressurized in the dwarf planet mantle until an asteroid impact smashed that mantle into pieces. Okay, that's mentioned in the paragraph. Now, the dwarf planet's mantle had all the essential chemicals needed for the fluid-driven reaction that created launched the lid. If this is true, it supports this particular argument mentioned in the paragraph or research mentioned in the paragraph. Agreed? Hence, this becomes the answer choice. Agreed? Which of the following is not true? About the coupled dissolution re-precipitation, 12th. Now see, in 12th, not true. Answer is, ये गलती क्या होगा तुमने पक्का? You would have marked this wrong. 12th. See, it was catalyzed by the rapid impact pressure needed to create launch length crystals. Okay? ये not true है. This is not true. Why this is not true? Because if you look at the paragraph, it is written, was heated and pressurized in the dwarf planets. So they claim that a fluid mix of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur was heated and pressurized in the dwarf planet. It was catalyzed by the rapid impact pressure needed to create. Not true. So this is not true. It was catalyzed by the rapid impact pressure needed to create. No, it was heated and pressurized in the dwarf planets. Okay. Hence, this is not true and becomes the answer choice. Rest others are true. Question number 13 to 16. Last passage. Okay. Last passage. 8 difficult tha. One could have easily not attempted this passage. ये छोड़ा जा सकता था. Okay. Which of the following, if true, contradicts any of the author's argument in the passage? Now, what is the author's argument in the passage? See, author's argument in the passage is that it says very clearly, yet a music can die. Okay. And as a language can. ये बोलता है पक्का मरेगा. Okay. It also says no music can survive. No music can survive long on artificial life support without a driving social impulse. That means he is saying if true, contradicts. If true, contradicts. Some musical forms have the capacity to drive social impulse and thrive on it. अगर ये true है, तो ये contradict करता है author की बात को कि music will die. इसके हिसाब से music बचेगा, author के हिसाब से music मरेगा. Okay, so this becomes the answer choice. Difficult question. Okay, not easy to attempt. It can be inferred from the third paragraph of the passage. Third paragraph of the passage, a bigger threat. Okay, till this, iska inference. Now, in this case, you will mark A as an answer. Indigenous classical forms of music in India had encouragement from rulers. Why? It says that a wide range of musicians were discouraged by their rulers and made to believe that their indigenous styles were backward when compared to Western polyphony. Only India was immune to this notion. Only India was immune from this notion. Hence, this is answer as an inference. I mean, simple. ये easy था. आप अगर कुछ selective attempt करना चाहते थे, you could have attempted this question. Which are the following best restates why the author refers to artificial life support in the penultimate para? Restates why he supports. Okay. Again, I would say easy. Classical forms of music can thrive only with the social engagement and not just with academic and government interest. Okay. So just wanted to say this, that only this is not required. Only with social engagement can thrive, only with social engagement and not with academic and government interest. Hence, it was C as an answer. Question number 16. Which are the following most helps us evaluate the author's answer to a big question? What was the answer to the big question? Can anybody answer quickly? What was the answer to the big question? Question number 16. The answer to the big question according to the author is yes or no? Yes or no? Quick. Waiting for your response. Waiting for your response. Quick in your chat box. Answer to the big question is, देखो, answer to the big question yes है या no है? Write down in the chat box. Answer is no. Answer to the big question is no. है ना Nakul? Yes, Nakul, you are right. Yes, Nakul, you are right. Answer to the big question is no. Now, with this, no, because of the existing conditions. Because of the existing conditions. No classical form of music has originated in any part of the world in the last 2 centuries. Now, this option gives us data that strengthens the author's theory that classical form of music won't be created anymore. Because of the socio-political changes, this option states that the author is right in that current environment is not conducive for the creation. Is not conducive for the creation. Hence, this becomes the answer. Okay. Acha, chalo. Some classical forms have a similar gestation period than others. Some classical forms have similar gestation period than others. I will not answer this. Eliminate kar dunga. The mutation of geopolitical orders result in unsettling of cultural norms. No. Folk music is gaining more popularity. It is not on popularity. Those who have marked C, a lot of you would have marked C. It is not on popularity. Hence, this is also wrong. Okay. So here you could have marked D. अब देखो, इस पूरे टेस्ट का इवैल्यूएट करने के बाद में we are clear that कुछ तो मिस्टेक्स हम कर रहे हैं एंड सबसे बड़ी मिस्टेक अभी सितंबर में लाई करती है that I am giving up. Please don't give up. I have tried my level best to tell you that how you will evaluate each and every option. While taking the test, I am requesting you that an attempt of 5 questions from VA and a good scanning can give you 8 questions of RC. So 5 questions from VA, a good scanning can give you 8 questions of RC, if this you can attempt at a high accuracy rate, 21 marks to 30 marks is not a difficult game in this test. Was not a difficult game in this test. Hence, please do not give up. You have a weakness. You have identified that. अब गलती क्या होगी? सिर्फ एक ही चीज है जो तुम्हें सक्सीड करा सकती है, and that is try once more. You have done reason analysis. Whatever I have told you, you have done that. Try once more. Do one more reason analysis. Okay. Do one more reason analysis. Do one more test. Do one more SEMCAT. Sir, I have found out that, there is a problem that I am getting. I am spending a lot of time on VA. So if I am spending a lot of time on VA, then in that case, take one more test and spend 10 minutes only. You have to decide that how much time you would spend. You have to decide that how much time you would spend. Okay. Spend that time. Then only you will be able to manage it. Believe me, guys, you can do it. मेरी मानो कर सकते हो. मैंने बहुत आसान एक एमकैट लेके समझाया. 5 क्वेश्चन VA से, 8 क्वेश्चन RC से. Good order of attempt, passage number 1 and 3. Passage number 1 and 3, turtles wala, animals wala, and diamond wala. 1 and 3. These 2 passages, they could have given you the required score and you would have probably excelled in the test. Okay. With this, I would like to finish this MCAT analysis. Hope this exercise would have helped you. Okay. Hope this exercise would have helped you. We'll try to do a couple of more in future, and this will really help you to improve your analysis, post-test analysis. With this, I would like to wind up this. Wish you all the best, guys. May God bless you. Keep rocking. Don't give up. Last October and November, 2 months left. Please do not give up. Just to try once more. Just try one more test. Just take another SAMCAT. And whenever you are getting exhausted, just leave your preparation for a day. No harm. Just chill out. Just vent out. Ensure that you are able to talk to your friends, to your parents, or with your mentors, your teachers, with whomsoever you wish to interact. Just do that. Just vent out and then come back again. But don't quit. Okay. This is the best period, golden period for those people who really quit. This is the golden period for you. Please don't quit. Okay, number 1. Okay, I'll answer a couple of questions. I have no problem with the attempt or selection with all the problems coming in accuracy. Accuracy can only be improved if you analyze the options the way I did it for you. Okay, try it out. You will definitely improve if you practice more and more. Okay, how many RCs we should do in a day? No. Don't do RCs in a day. Ensure that you take 40-minute test with 4 passages in hand. Sorry, 30 minutes, 4 passages in hand. If you're taking 40 minutes, 4 passages in hand and 8 questions of VA. Make a test. Every time you attempt, 30 minutes, 4 passages, 30 minutes, 4 passages, 30 minutes, 4 passages. Okay. 2408 RC tougher than the normal CAT? Slightly. ये बिल्कुल CAT level का था 2409. मतलब moderate था ये. बहुत difficult नहीं था. इसका देखो 21 नंबर पे अच्छा स्कोर आ रहा है. Is it a good option spending around 15 minutes around VA? Arham, this is purely up to you. Okay. If your VA is strong, do that. If you're getting score through this, do that. Try out the other way, 10-30. But if you're doing well in 15-25, do that. No harm. Okay. जो आपको लगता है, मुझे वो लगता है. ठीक है. जो आपको लग रहा है अच्छा, जिस पे आपका स्कोर आ रहा है, मेरे लिए वो अच्छा है. ठीक है. I do attempt test every day, but nothing is working. It will work. Don't worry. Don't worry, honey. It will work. And ensure that you analyze the way we have done it today. Ensure that you do an option analysis. Ensure that you identify each and every word in the option and then you analyze that. Okay. Scanning is important of all 5 passages. Spend 5 minutes. Every time you take a test, spend 5 minutes and identify the passages which you can attempt. Like in this one, 1-3 or 3-1 could have been a good order of attempt and you could have attempted 8 questions easily. Okay. Which topics are RC are mostly unattempted? Oh, I can't say that, man. That depends on an individual to individual. You might not like philosophy. I might like philosophy. Okay. So it is difficult to comment. It is not unique for everyone. It is sorry, it is not common for everyone. It is unique for everyone. सबका अलग अलग होगा, सबके लिए अपना अपना होगा, यूनिक होगा उनका. Okay, I am confused between two options. हाँ, सभी होते हैं. Don't worry, कुछ नया नहीं हो रहा, कुछ नया नहीं है तुषार, सब होते हैं. ठीक है, हमको सिर्फ उन दो ऑप्शंस पे टेस्ट के बाद में देखना है कि जो मैंने मार्क किया था उसका रीजन वर्सेस जो ऑलरेडी आंसर चॉइस है उसके रीजन में कितना अंतर है. आई हैव टू डू अ रीजन एनालिसिस, क्योंकि दो ऑप्शन पे सब कंफ्यूज होते हैं, मैं भी होता हूं. ऑल फैकल्टी मेंबर्स दे आर आल्सो कंफ्यूज्ड इन टू ऑप्शंस, बट दे नो द रीजन व्हाई दे आर मार्किंग दिस. सो आपको कोई परेशानी की बात नहीं है, सितंबर है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. अक्टूबर में we'll do that option analysis, we'll do that reason analysis. Okay, so this is the problem. This problem is with everyone, don't worry. Okay, so I hope I would have done some justice with you guys. Wish you all the best, keep rocking. ठीक है, बस मुझको रिजल्ट लाके देना है, nothing else. All the best to everyone. Bye bye from my side and thank you from your side.